Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. It's the Premier League review show that we are doing today. The 24-25 Premier League campaign is in the exciting season in certain aspects. Has played itself out. We have seen the three newly promoted sides to the Premier League from the Championship go straight back down. We have seen Tottenham finish 17th and yet some way, somehow manage to obtain Champions League football for next season through the gateway of winning the Europa League. Man United have had an absolute car crash of a season. Bournemouth have been very respectable. Nottingham Forest have probably surprised everybody with how well they did, despite falling away a little bit towards the end of the campaign. Chelsea managed to obtain their goals this season. Manchester City hit a massive downfall. Arsenal finished second again, LA. And of course, Liverpool are the Premier League champions and celebrated in phenomenal style. It's been one hell of a season. It really has been one hell of a season. And this is going to be the video where we're going to go through the teams. We're going to go through from bottom to top, the teams that finished in the Premier League from 20th right the way through to first. And we're going to give a little bit of a review on everybody this season. Normally I do this as a video, but I thought, we'll see if we can get some comments in today. We'll see what we can get from you guys as well, because I'm sure what you have to say will make for great and interesting reading. So, like always with these videos, get involved. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And, of course, get involved in the chat. Would love to hear from you all on what you have to say on this Premier League season. I know it's a few days out of date. I know that, obviously, the Premier League campaign finished on Sunday, but with all the things kicking off, all of the videos I wanted to kind of put out there as well, and obviously time being somewhat against me this week, I've kind of had to move it to a Thursday, but it still should be interesting and it still should be fun, and I'm sure you guys have got a lot of interesting things to put in the chat to obviously throw up as conversation topics or questions or things of that nature. I'm sure what you have to say will make for great and interesting reading. So please do get involved. Would love to hear from you all. First and foremost, obviously Chelsea last night made history. Incredible scenes. Chelsea Football Club, first team to ever win all three tiers of European football. Brilliant a piece of history for them. Sorry, sound out bit me head in. Yeah, brilliant season as far as what Chelsea are concerned. Obtained all their goals, won a trophy at the end of it, came from a goal down to beat Real Betis by 4-1. A little bit sad that Chelsea didn't end up with egg on their face and a bit of embarrassment there, but it is what it is. Fair play to the Blues. Hey, Balam, how you doing, bro? Hope you are good. Are you real or AI? Very much real, bro. Very much real. Very much real. But always nice to keep me guessing and test me, I guess. No one put Tottenham 17th place. And yet, no one put them there, but no one's really surprised that they finished there. We'll get on to Tottenham a little later, bro. Liverpool are bossing this transfer deals and rumours. Absolutely, bro. I've never been this excited for a Liverpool transfer window in a long time. And the fact that there's a potential of more on top of what we already know and what we are seemingly going to get, it just makes me so much excited. But big up Marco, by the way. Hope you are well, my dude, as well. Southampton were so bad this season. making up the numbers, bro. Making up the numbers. Not many Liverpool fans. Not many say Liverpool will win the league. Absolutely. Not many Liverpool fans either would have said that. So definitely, it was a bit of a surprise to everybody involved. Arsenal second place again. Yes, second again. Ale. Jordan's here, bro. Jordan's here in the building. How you doing, big man? You are good. Go and subscribe to Jordan Hyman's YouTube channel, guys. He is doing some incredible stuff over there. He is live seemingly by the hour with constant watch-alongs and all of kind of Liverpool-based content and football content as well. Doing really well on all of that stuff. So please do go check him out. He's on the way to 3K, I believe, 3K subscribers. So get him above that marquee, guys, because he is doing some brilliant stuff over there. Chelsea, first trophy under the new ownership. Absolutely. We will talk about Chelsea a little later on in the video. Can't believe why Barca would be interested in Rashford. He would be on the bench a lot then, unless he would be a 9 interchanging with Lewandowski. Could be a creative solution. Here's the thing with Barca. We all know they're after a left winger. They've been linked with Nico Williams. They've been linked with Luis Diaz. They're now linked with Marcus Rashford. I'm a little bit surprised they're not going after Gyökeres. They're not trying their luck with Gyökeres. Lewandowski's not exactly getting any younger, and Gyökeres could be the long-term solution, especially when you consider that it's like, 60 million? Something like that he's going for. I'm very much surprised that Barca are not going for a Gyökeres. I know he's not the left winger that maybe they so desire, but maybe a Rashford is a cheaper solution. And maybe they are looking to make a big splash in this transfer window. I don't know. Rashford will be cheap because Man United don't want him anyway. Ultimately, he can't play for them again, and they would take anything for him, and Barca don't have the money for Gyökeres anyway. I mean, maybe not. Barca always seem to find a way around these financial things. So I wouldn't say it's impossible for Gyökeres not to be going to Barcelona this summer, but I understand a little bit where you're coming from. And the rumours is that it's going to be 40 million to prize Rashford away from Manchester United, which again is not that much for a player that you saw when he was at Aston Villa. The pressure sort of lift from him. And he definitely did turn up for Aston Villa before obviously getting injured. And who knows, maybe if he hadn't have picked up that injury, Aston Villa could be sat here right now in the Champions League. So we'll obviously never know, but it's going to be interesting to find out. You'll Never Walk Alone 66. How you doing, big man? Hope you are well. Big up yourself, bro. Go and subscribe to this guy's channel. He's doing some really great Liverpool content over on You'll Never Walk Alone 66, and I'm sure there'll be something for everybody, even if you are not a Liverpool fan. I'm sure that if you want to just broaden your horizons on football and different clubs, go and check out You'll Never Walk Alone 66. I'm live at 6:30. Do you want to come on? I can't, bro. I'm afraid I'm at work. Unfortunately, I'm at work tonight, so I won't be able to make it. But hope you do have a good stream, my bro, and I will be tuning in when I get the time to obviously watch it back. Doing Liverpool transfer news, guys. 6:30. You'll Never Walk Alone YouTube channel. He's going to be doing some Liverpool content, so do go over there and check it out, and also check out the other stuff while you're there as well. I'm sure he's got some great stuff for everyone. Barca still need to spend big money to finish the stadium, otherwise this will be the third season we don't play at the new camp. Again, I don't know the end completely, so I have to take your word for that, bro. But it does seem like one way or another, these Spanish clubs, especially the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid, always find a way around these financial things. Even when we return to the new camp, it will be for hard capacity, and they still will be building the rest while playing, which is not ideal either. Not ideal. It's it just needs redeveloping, doesn't it? That's rebuilding, resurrecting, that kind of thing. That's it. I don't know the financials of it, don't know the full story of it, so don't really want to comment on something I'm not 100% sure on. But at the same time, I get where you're coming from, my dude. Did you watch Conference League final? Again, I was at work last night. I caught the highlights of it. I knew Chelsea were going to win. I said in my prediction Chelsea were going to win. I got a little bit excited when I got the update on my phone that that Betis went 1-0 up. But then after following it a little bit, it seemed like Chelsea were taking over as the game wore on. And then eventually Chelsea just absolutely punished them. And it's not great. It's not great. I really wish that Betis would have won that. I think it would have meant more for Betis and meant more for the competition. But that's football. That's football. Chelsea did what was expected of them. They won the competition that everybody and their mums made them favourites for. Yeah, it is what it is. Right, let's get into the reviews then, shall we? We're going to start with the bottom three. Southampton, Leicester and Ipswich. The three newly promoted Premier League teams this year go straight back down to the Championship. And it was somewhat a little expected, wasn't it? I don't think a lot of people gave them a chance. I thought that maybe Ipswich could have maybe surprised a few by maybe managing to stay up by being the fourth worst team in the Premier League, but obviously that wasn't the case. The relegation battle was pretty much wrapped up quite early on this season, especially the bottom two. Ipswich at least did make a bit more of a fight about it, but ultimately a lack of individual quality, a lack of star quality overall kind of just really exposed them. And they ended up obviously going down, back down to the Championship for next season. A lack of goals, a lack of discipline, a lack of adaptation, and a lack of just star quality overall is what you can maybe say are common threads for all three of these relegated sides this season. Southampton were extremely poor. Their only saving grace is that they didn't manage to become the worst Premier League team ever by hitting the record lowest points tally ever accumulated by a Premier League team. That obviously still goes to Derby County. So that's the one saving grace for Southampton. For Leicester and Ruud van Nistelrooy, it was a gamble that didn't pay off. I'm going to be very much surprised if they do sack him or if they have already sacked him. I'm not 100% sure if they have already, but I know there was a lot of talk that he was allegedly going to be leaving the club in one way or another. I'd be very surprised when you consider that he's a young manager, long-term project, and yet you're not even giving him a chance to redeem himself. Yes, it has been a poor season, but you've made a massive gamble by picking an unproven manager. So what exactly were you expecting is my question to Leicester. And on Ipswich, it was always going to be a massive uphill battle for them. They battled hard. Fair play to the likes of Liam Delap, who had a brilliant breakout season, but it just ultimately wasn't good enough. So unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to all three of those teams. La Liga was a bit exposed this year, with Man United easily disposing of Sociedad and even Bilbao 6-2, and Chelsea just getting out of first gear and scoring 4 against teams like Betis. It's strange. A lot of people tell me that that La Liga is better than the Premier League, and yet this season, like you say, we've seen Sociedad and Bilbao fall to Manchester United. We've seen Betis get beaten by Chelsea. Even Real Madrid was slapped up by Arsenal. So is this just a one-off thing? I don't know. I don't know. But a lot of people tell me that the quality of football is better. Is better. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a one-off season, or maybe I'm being lied to. I don't know. Which three teams are coming up to the Prem? So Leeds United won the Championship, so they're on the way back up to the Premier League for next season. There's Leeds. There is Burnley that are back. Burnley are back in the big time. and the winners of the Championship playoff are Sunderland. So Sunderland are back. So the Tyneside derby next season, Newcastle Southampton, is going to be a very, very tasty fixture indeed, and one that I am particularly looking forward to outside of obviously my own club. That derby is something very special up there in the north. Van Nistelrooy really dropped the ball. All he had to do was just do a bit better. He won like 1 in 13. The teams was not that bad. Slot with Leicester would finish 12th, I think. It's difficult because, again, he's an unproven manager who I think Leicester basically went, yeah, he had a couple of good games with United when he was the interim manager and went, yeah, we'll take a gamble on him. That Leicester team was just relying on mainly Vardy, wasn't it? It was mainly Vardy they were relying on, and, you know, he's not exactly getting any younger. I know they weren't helped with injuries and things like that, but at the same time, I don't know. I think they were always facing an uphill battle. It's always easier to say, well, we could have just done a little better. I don't know. I just don't think that team was overall good enough, and I think the board made a mistake. I don't necessarily think it was Van Nistelrooy's fault. I think he had an opportunity there to make something of this team. He was obviously going to take it, and the people you should be really angry at is probably the board. They could have gone with a tried and tested. Was David Moyes at Everton by then? I don't think he was he? I could be wrong. They could have gone with a tried and tested David Moyes. They could have gone with a tried and tested, maybe even like Sean Dyche, for example. Try someone who was more tried, tested, more experienced, but instead they went with a complete gamble in Van Nistelrooy, in my opinion. Someone who's never managed in the Premier League. Yes, he knows the Premier League from his time at Manchester United, of course, but never really managed, never been the main guy, the brains behind the operation. He's just been a part of the machine, I guess you could say. No, Premier League completely bodied La Liga. La Liga is not better than the Prem at all. Like I say, this season has certainly proved it. This season has certainly proved it. And, you know, the only saving grace for La Liga this season has been Barcelona. And, you know, they put on an absolute incredible game against Inter in the semi-finals. So, yeah, like I say, I'm only just reporting on what people have said to me. And the manager and the man manages PSV, and that is good Champions League season. I don't know what's next for him now. I think he probably goes back to the Netherlands, to be honest. I think he probably does go back to the Netherlands and continues his coaching journey. If Van Nistelrooy would have done a bit better, than Spurs would have been relegated. Yes. Yeah, that is just incredible to think of. That would just be incredible to think of in general, because it may not have had any effect on Tottenham's season in terms of the Europa League. So just seeing Tottenham next season in the Championship alone would have just been amusing. But then to see them in the Championship and also playing Champions League football would have been more amusing. So, yeah, that would have definitely been fun. Okay, I get what you mean. Do I work night shifts or evenings? A mixture of both. I work a mixture of both. It depends what week I'm on, but I do work a mixture of both, and I try and fit videos and going live and my life outside of this around it as well. So very busy. Right, that neatly brings us on to Tottenham, actually. Next, we've done the 3 relegated sides, so we'll go with Tottenham next. A conflicting season as far as what Tottenham are concerned. Their league performance was abysmal. They recorded 11 wins, 5 draws, and 22 losses. 22 losses in the Premier League this season. Only the bottom 3 have a worse loss record than them. But at the same time, they managed to still win a trophy. They managed to not only win a trophy, that was the Europa League, but they have also managed to gain access into the Champions League for next season. It's bizarre, but those are the rules. And I know that a lot of people are not exactly happy with that. And I know that not a lot of people are amused by this, but that is the reality of the situation. A conflicting season in which now they face a bit of a crossroads. Do they stick with Ange Postecoglou, or do they get rid of him, the man that has brought them their first trophy since 2008 in the form of a Europa League, a European trophy? I genuinely don't know. I refer to this as what Manchester United went through last year with Erik ten Hag when he won them the FA Cup. And I simply say that I could understand if they kept him. I really, really could. But at the same time, I think for the improvement of Tottenham, because I don't think this is sustainable, they have to get rid of him. I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think things are going to get any better than this. I think this is probably, in terms of silverware at least, I don't think things are going to get better. They obviously could rise up the table again next season. They could even fall even further down if the newly promoted sides are going to actually compete next season. I don't know, man. This is a very interesting scenario that Tottenham find themselves in. But look, they picked up an incredible trophy. There's a lot of people out there that say, did they have a better season than Arsenal? I think if you look at it from strictly the perspective of success, silverware, then yes. If you look at it as silverware on top of them both obtaining Champions League football for next season, then yes. If you look at it as this season in a vacuum, then yes, you could say that. But if you're looking more long term, I guess you could say that Arsenal have had the better of the seasons because there is more stability there. There is more sustainability. It's more likely that Arsenal are going to stay around those Champions League places for the next season and maybe the following seasons to come, as well as maybe even get closer towards silverware. The opportunity is going to be there for a domestic cup. The opportunity is certainly going to be strong for any other piece of silverware that Arsenal compete in for next season. Whilst for Spurs, it may not necessarily be that sustainable. It's not going to necessarily be a given for them that they're going to obtain silverware or Champions League football consistently for seasons to come. So depends which way you look at it, but I can see it certainly from both sides. What do you make of Ange saying third season is always better in TV series? Another legendary quote, like, I always win things. He's taking the mick now. Again, if he does it, I mean, the whole I win something in second season thing is now going to go down in legendary status. That's up there with Jose Mourinho's special one and all of that stuff. Like, that's already like locked in history now. But if he is to go on and do something even more incredible in Tottenham's third season, a lot of people, including myself, are going to have to eat their own words, eat some humble pie, and I don't know. I mean, is the third season of a TV series better than any others? Are there examples out? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. A third season, I guess The Simpsons, maybe. I'm just trying to think of any other kind of TV series that were actually better in the third season than they were in the first. Maybe there are. I don't know. Maybe I don't watch that much TV, but yeah. If he is to win something, that's going to go up there. Daniel Levy should have cojones and still fire Ange. He will leave as a legend, but foresight is needed here if he stays. it'll be a nightmare Prem. Just look at the last match, 4-1 against Crystal Palace. It was 4-1 against Brighton, wasn't it? 4-1 against Brighton last day of the season. I agree. I think that he's taken him as far as he can go. He can ride out into the sunset knowing that he did something that Jose Mourinho couldn't do, Antonio Conte couldn't do, no one else could do. I think that would be a great way to leave out, and probably gets a statue. He probably gets a statue at that ground for what he's managed to achieve. Fair play. It'll be more of that. Ten Hag could get a big job now at Leverkusen. How do you think he will do? Wirtz, Frimpong were their best players though, and they are leaving. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Leverkusen. The squad's been ripped apart a little bit. They've got a couple of players leaving. They may even have more players leaving come the end of the transfer window. They've obviously lost their manager. I think it's going to be a bit of a rebuild situation for Leverkusen. But I think with the pressure being lifted off Ten Hag now that he's not at Manchester United, I think he might actually do decent, I think he might actually do pretty well. I've never really bought into this idea that he's a terrible coach. I just think that certain players, certain managers fit into different clubs better. Unai Emery at Aston Villa, for example, when the pressure's not necessarily on him, is really, really good. He's really, really good at playing that underdog role. And I think Ten Hag is very much the same. I think he's very good at playing the underdog role rather than being the favourite. And I would say that he is he's very good at doing that kind of shtick. Season 3 of Game of Thrones was widely considered one of the show's strongest. I couldn't get into Game of Thrones. I really couldn't get into Game of Thrones. Maybe The Walking Dead, actually. Was The Walking Dead Season 3? Was that with the governor? Yes, because Season 2 was the very long farm one. I feel like Walking Dead Season 3 was also pretty good as well. I'd agree with that. I agree. I mean, how can the third season be better? Because even if Spurs finish second and don't win anything, it would be better, which proves Arsenal did not have a better season. I think it's a case of you can't judge every team the same. And what I mean by that is, if Betis had won the Conference League last night, it would have meant more to them than it would to the eventual winners of Chelsea. In the same way that Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup would have meant a lot more to them, as it did and as it showed, than what it would have done to a Manchester City. Even though City have not won anything this season, they would still consider that season as a failure, even if they did win the FA Cup. But because Palace won it, that is success, because that is the first time in their history that Crystal Palace have won a major piece of silverware. So I think that we can't just bunch everybody in this one kind of bracket and then decipher success or failure. It's not quite as black and white as that. I think what you have to do is you have to manage every team's expectations, because the moment you say, well, they didn't win it, so they're a failure, is the day when you go, all right then, well, next season, Leeds, Burnley, Sunderland, the newly promoted sides, should be aiming to win the Premier League. And if they don't, get rid of them. That's obviously not going to happen. That's obviously not going to happen. So I feel like you do have to kind of go through it team by team and work out their expectations and work out their overall objectives for a specific season before you judge. Big Anne statue would be massive, both literally and metaphorically. Yes, I agree. Ten Hag has a clear system, and you could see he is very close to getting things right, and he is at a top level. Which positives are there to say about Amorim? Thing is with Amorim is that he's walked into a Man United side, and we'll get into Man United conversation a little later. He's walked into a Man United side who have got a very poorly constructed squad. They don't fit in with his system whatsoever. He's only made one signing since being there. And he doesn't have a magic wand to turn it around overnight. I still back Amorim. I still think Amorim is a good manager, a good head coach, and I still think that he can turn things around at United. Even though I hope I'm proven wrong, I can't stress that enough. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that United remain in the mud for a long time to come. But at the same time, I believe he is a good coach. I think that there are some changes there that United have made. I think that he's been forced to play with the hand he's been dealt with. Now that the transfer window is here, and a summer one at that, he gets a pre-season under his belt, he gets a transfer window, we can now start to see what he is really about, and whether or not this new ownership at Manchester United is going to flourish or fail. Moving on, because we've got a lot of teams to go through. 16th, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Hard to tell with Wolves, really. Hard to tell with Wolves. They've kind of gone a little bit under the radar since, obviously, Premier League safety. Done really well, though. Matheus Cunha dragged them out of a hole. They're going to get a pretty nice fee for Cunha. Could have probably been more had it not been for a release clause, but it's a nice fee that Cunha is going to bring in for Wolves. But again, they're going to lose another big player. They seem to lose a big player every season to Wolverhampton Wanderers, unfortunately for them. But it's another season in the Premier League. They keep their heads above water. I just think that maybe Wolves fans are maybe looking for something a bit more exciting and a bit more adventurous for them for the next campaign. 15th, Manchester United, as we've previously spoke about in a little bit of detail. Started off the season with Erik ten Hag, moved on to Ruud van Nistelrooy as an interim base, and then, of course, Ruben Amorim takes over. They get to a Europa League final, they lose it, but that should not deter anybody, in my opinion, away from the potential that something is building here. Don't get me wrong, it's not been great. There's no excuses for what has happened. You did. How you doing, bro? Hope you are good, my friend. Welcome along to the stream. Hope you are well. Would love to get your thoughts on anything Premier League related, buddy, or anything football related, actually. Just get involved with anything football related. It's fine. Where was I? Yeah. I don't think you can really put a lot of blame on it. Like the season's been poor. There's no doubt about it, right? The thing is that the way I see it, he couldn't turn things around overnight. This club has been left to rot for over a decade. This club is a Frankenstein squad of Solskjaer players, Ten Hag players, and there may be one or two other players from different eras as well. And I just think, like, how is he supposed to turn things around overnight when there's clearly a lot of players in this squad that don't fit with his system? I've never played his system. What was he supposed to do? And also, if you get rid of him now, what was the point of bringing him in the first place? It makes no sense to me. I think the signing of Matheus Cunha is a fantastic start. I think he suits Amorim's system down to the ground. I spoke a little bit on Cunha yesterday in my live stream that I did. I think he's perfect for United, exactly what they're looking for. But of course, they do need more. And I'm thinking fair play if they get them signings. I think one game a week may also help Amorim a lot more next season in terms of keeping the squad fresh, keeping the squad rotated. And not only that as well, but it means a lot more work on the training ground, which I think was missing a lot, particularly when he first took over. It was game, couple of days off, game, couple of days off, game, couple of days off, game. It won't be like that next season. There will be a lot longer of a break, a lot more time on the training pitch, and I feel like that could really benefit United next season if Amorim is the guy that I think he could be. Let's be real. Amorim is worse than Van Nistelrooy. Amorim has been horrific. There is nothing positive to say about him. People just holding off criticism because he is new. His three at the back is dumb. But look at the defenders he's got. Look at the defenders he's got and look at the injuries he picked up this season. I'm going to defend him on this because I don't think it's necessarily fair to kind of judge him this quickly. I understand it's not good enough, and I'm not saying he's completely blameless whatsoever, but I just don't think most of these players fit his system. I don't think the wing-backs were good enough for a large part of this season. When he brought in Dorgu started off really, really well. That is the kind of thing that I would cling on to as a United fan if I was one, and say, maybe with a bit more of these types of players that suit his system, suit his style, maybe they could go on and produce something. I mean, as funny as it is, I get it. As funny as it is that they lost to a completely unknown team, at least in probably Europe. I get you. I get you. Who are they? What are they? And the open top bus parade thing that I saw yesterday was somewhat embarrassing. Funny though. Judith asks, who do you think will be in the race for the Premier League next year? It's the same three again, bro. It's the same three again of, at this moment in time, City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Not necessarily in that order, but those three again will be in the running. I also have a sneaky feeling for Chelsea. If they can bring in some good quality players, I feel like if Chelsea were to go out there and bring in a top quality goalkeeper, a top quality and experienced centre-back, if they were to go out there and get a killer up front, an ice-cold finisher in front of goal, I feel like that would also benefit Chelsea and they could potentially be in the running for next season. But for right now, without knowing too much about the transfer window, I would say it's going to be the usual three that I think a lot of people put as their top three for last season and maybe even the season before. So just while we're on this, Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted about Liam Delap. Chelsea are closing in on Liam Delap deal as details of the long-term contract are being completed with his agents. Enzo Maresca appreciation plus UCL football made the difference as Chelsea are set to activate £30 million release clause. Chelsea just wait for the formal communication now. That's big. That is big for Chelsea. That is big for Liam Delap, and that's big for Chelsea. 30 million for me. 30 million for Liam Delap is an absolute no-brainer because I personally think that you can't lose in that situation. I think with the reputation he's built, with the fact that he's English, I think the minimum that you sell him for, if he doesn't work out later on down the line, is 30 million. So I think this is a no-brainer for Chelsea. Boost their attacking outlets up, beefs up their squad, reinforces their attacking lineup. Do I think that they probably still need a more experienced striker? Absolutely. But that's not Nicholas Jackson. So maybe they bring in Delap. They sell Nicholas Jackson. Maybe that could be the case when it comes to Chelsea. But it could be a fantastic signing for Chelsea if that is to obviously go through, get the green light, and obviously be done, dusted, and made official. Liam Delap to Chelsea is a brilliant signing, in my opinion. It's a no-brainer as far as what I'm concerned. And I'm just wondering now, because obviously he was heavily linked with a move to Manchester United, but obviously with Chelsea gaining Champions League football, it does seem like that has swung the tide in their favour in terms of this transfer story. Where do Man United go from here? They're clearly after a striker. They are clearly wanting to reinforce their attacking options. Where do Man United go from here? Do they go all out for a Gyökeres and hope that the relationship between Amorim and Gyökeres is enough to kind of sway him towards United? Or do they look elsewhere? I'm very much intrigued by what is next for Manchester United after missing out, or seemingly at this moment in time missing out on Liam Delap, according to Fabrizio Romano, as Chelsea are closing in on the signing of the Ipswich striker. Cunha has attitude problems, aggressive fella, apparently will fit right in at Manchester United toxic environment. Problematic player. Remember his meltdown against Kirkez, which he was suspended for. Yeah, a lot of people have said this. I don't mind having a player that's a little rough around the edges, as long as obviously you can try and maintain or you know, kind of calm down that kind of temper. Maybe if they can file down some of those rough edges he has, then United have an absolute gem on their hands, in my opinion. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's exactly what United and Amorim need. I understand where a lot of people are coming from with his attitude problems and everything, but I think every team has players like them. Some get away with it more than others. Some are more subtle with doing that, that kind of thing. So I get where you're coming from, bro. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to life in that Manchester United team. Like you say as well, I would be concerned by his attitude mixed in with a toxic environment like Manchester United, like it can be at times. I would be concerned by that as well. So I do agree that is something to look out for. But as far as the player goes, as when he's playing on the pitch, top talent, no doubt about it. Hopefully the psycho driving on Liverpool fans did not rain on the parade too much. Were you there? No, I wasn't there. I really wish I was, because they looked like they were absolutely phenomenal scenes, barring, of course, the horrific incident that happened. Again, as I mentioned in the live stream yesterday, thoughts go out to everybody that was affected by what happened. Horrible event that took place. Like, no one should be going to any kind of football event, whether it's to a stadium to watch a match or to see their team celebrate winning a trophy and obviously get injured, or even worse, something more fatal happen to them in the aftermath of it. So hopefully everybody's on the mend. Hopefully everybody is recovering from that. And yeah, hopefully everybody's okay. I really wish I was there, though. The scenes looked absolutely phenomenal outside of that horrible incident. I really do wish I was there. I really wanted to. It looked absolutely incredible. I genuinely wish I was there. But again, busy life. De Ligt, Mazraoui, and Maguire are kind of world class. Amorim manages to make it look terrible. I would not put any of them in the world class category. I think Mazraoui is very good. I would say De Ligt is very good. I wouldn't say Maguire's very good, but to each their own, bro. To each their own. Could Man United or Spurs be in serious relegation danger next season, or will they be active enough in the transfer window to avoid that? Spurs are the Champions League money. They'll both be okay. As much as I would love to see United get relegated, I think they'll both be okay enough. They'll put it this way: they'll at least be the fourth worst team again next season, at least. And again, in Spurs' case, it could be the second year in a row. But we shall see what happens. We shall see. Did you go to the parade? I really wish I did, bro. I really wish I did. It looked absolutely phenomenal, barring the obvious incident that took place there. But I really, really, really wish I did. It's something that I kind of regret not doing, not making the time for. I really wish I did. Ronaldo trending on Twitter, free agent now, 1 year, Real Madrid is possible, or Brazil or America, Bomber incoming, even somewhere else in Europe. You would not expect Sporting Lisbon. I think the fairy tale ending for him is to finish his career at Sporting Lisbon. I think that's the fairy tale ending for him. Go back to Portugal, see out the remainder of his career there. I think that is going to be definitely on the cards for Cristiano Ronaldo, I feel. Don't really see him go to anywhere else. Could be America, could be Brazil if he fancies. Maybe he's got like another couple of transfers in the bank. But yeah, I'm not 100% convinced by anywhere else other than Sporting Lisbon. If, of course, he's planning on ending his career within the next year or two. Luca Talks Ball is in the building. Hey, Luca, how you doing, bro? Hope you are well. Go and subscribe to Luca's channel, guys. Doing some really great content over there. Mainly Arsenal stuff, but of course he's an MK Dons fan as well, so he's got a little bit of variety there. Talks football, knows what he's talking about. I'm sure there is something for everybody on Luca's channel as well. So do go and check out Luca's channel. I'm good, bro. Hope you are well yourself. And Leroy Sané. I like it. I like the idea of Leroy Sané. I think he's got some unfinished business in the Premier League, obviously from his time at Manchester City. He's versatile. I think he is an upgrade on the vast majority of wingers that Arsenal currently have in their setup. Obviously, barring Bukayo Saka, of course. But he could obviously fill in for Saka on that right-hand side. If obviously you need to rotate him for whatever reason. He could play on the left-hand side as a more traditional winger that we saw a lot at Manchester City. I think he would be a very, very decent signing for your lot. He's a player that can get goals, get assists. He's very much experienced now. Just checking how old he is. 29 years of age, and it will be 30 by the time we get to January of next year. So yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot there to be somewhat positive about, I think, for Leroy Sané and Arsenal. I think he's more established than the players that you've been linked with in that kind of position. The Nico Williams, for example, I think he's more established there. I think that there is certainly a lot there to be intrigued by. Could you maybe go out there and get better? Maybe. There are probably possibilities and situations where maybe you could get someone that is more suited to Mikel Arteta's style. I do feel like he is best when there are spaces in behind defenses for him to use his pace to burst into and run onto. But there's no doubt about it. He's very good with the ball at his feet. He's very technical, likes to obviously dribble the ball a lot, and has got a wicked left foot on him. So I would be personally excited by this. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Sané to Arsenal is a decent move, or do you maybe see someone else maybe being a better fit? Let me know what you think. But yeah, good to have you along with us, bro. Good to have you along with us. Which self-respecting top-level striker even wants to go to Manchester United? Gyökeres can pick from every other club. Man United need to realise they are losing all their pull on the transfer market. Yes and no. They're still Manchester United. They still have the history behind them. And I understand where you're coming from, that the further and further away that you fall from your previous glory, the obviously less pull that you have. Liverpool found this out the hard way. But they still managed to attract good players. And we still managed to attract good players during our time of falling away. We managed to get the likes of Fernando Torres and Luis Suarez and players like that. So there's still going to be some real gems out there that you just have to obviously improve your scouting to find. And I do think that United may have to reduce their approach a little bit, but that's not to say that you can't find good players. I've always maintained that you don't need a team of 11 world-class players or a squad's worth of world-class players to win trophies. Otherwise, the team of PSG of a few years ago, Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar would have won everything. Crystal Palace wouldn't have won the FA Cup this season. Things like that. So it's not a possibility, but you just need your scouting to be up to standard, up to scratch. Rafinha walked the length of the pitch on knees again at Barca when Leeds promoted. Same thing he did at Ellen Road when he avoided relegation with them. Big up Rafinha, man. Quality player. Ronaldo wants to stay in the picture for the national team next year. Next year's World Cup will be his last tournament. If Portugal are to get anywhere in these international tournaments, they need to bin off Ronaldo. I'm sorry, but we saw it in the World Cup. We saw it in the Euros. Ronaldo isn't it no more. He's not it no more. He doesn't adapt. With Messi, at least there's some adaptability and versatility there, where he won't be the main man, but he could still pop up every now and again and do something special. He won't be the main vocal point. We saw that with Argentina. Argentina have learnt to revolve around Messi in terms of getting the best out of everybody else and also Messi being a part of it, rather than with Portugal, it's all about Ronaldo. It's the Ronaldo show. If Ronaldo's not doing anything, Portugal don't do anything. And rather than do something about it in terms of change Ronaldo, they don't. They don't. I think Portugal have to move on from Ronaldo. I'm not saying don't take him to any international tournament. Not saying that he can't have his last tournament at the World Cup next year. Not saying he can't have that. But what I am saying is he can't be the main guy anymore. Messi learned to adapt. Messi drops a little deeper. Messi has the likes of Alexis McAllister and Rodrigo de Paul do all the kind of running around and dirty work and all of that stuff. And Messi just pops up with the ball and just does magical Messi things with it to set up his teammates. Ronaldo is just Ronaldo. He is just there, There's no teamwork. There's no nothing. It's just the Ronaldo show every single tournament with Portugal. Arsenal will never learn. All they need is a killer number 9. Pick any Gyökeres, Vlahovic, any pure striker. None of these tricky wingers or midfield wizards. Entire team consists of that. I don't really rate Vlahovic, to be honest with you. I don't necessarily rate him that highly. But what I will say is they do need a winger. They do need a winger, Arsenal. There's no doubt about it. But they are looking at Gyökeres or Sesko. Now, as a Liverpool fan, I would love them to go and get Benjamin Sesko. For me, Arsenal with Gyökeres are more of a threat than Arsenal with Sesko. So therefore, Arsenal, go and get Benjamin Sesko. Go to RB Leipzig, slap the money on the table, go and get Benjamin Sesko. I, as a rival fan, would love and adore that. Arsenal with Victor Gyökeres would scare me a little bit. It genuinely would, because I think Gyökeres is insane. I think he's absolutely insane and an absolute killer up front, like you mentioned. It is what it is. We shall see which one they eventually land on. But as I said yesterday in my live stream when talking about Arsenal's striking options, I don't understand what would be the point of bringing in Berta if Arteta's going to get his way again. Because this seems to be Berta wants Gyökeres and Arteta wants Sesko. And if Arteta gets his way, what was the point in hiring the sporting director that was set to be the guy that's an upgrade on Edu and the guy that is going to go, right, Edu laid the foundations and now I'm just going to build. I'm just going to build on top of them. What would be the point? You can't play football without a pure striker and a keeper. Arsenal still don't get it. I mean, the keeper's not bad. Why is everyone turning on David Raya all of a sudden? I don't think their keeper's that bad. I don't think he's world class by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's maybe the slightly below bracket of world class, but I still think he's a very good goalkeeper. Even a flashy team like Barca has a ball waiting Lewandowski up front. To be fair though, when you've got the creativity of the likes of Rafinha behind you, Pedri, and of course Lamine Yamal doing all of the hard work, the dirty work, and all Lewandowski needs to do is just get into the right areas to finish. It's very easy. It's very, very easy. It's very easy. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Oh, also some more breaking news. Chelsea are opting against signing Jadon Sancho on a permanent deal, which is hilarious to me because now they're going to have to pay an extra like 5 million to not have this obligatory clause that was in his contract to not come to fruition. So pointless loan deal. And I don't think has that ever happened before? Has that ever happened before where a team has had an obligatory clause in the contract of a player that they signed on loan to buy definitely the end of it, and then they've turned around and gone, nah, we're not going to do it no more? Has that ever happened? Has that ever happened? I'd love to know. I'd love to know if that's ever happened before. When it comes to loan signings and things of that nature, I don't know if that's ever happened before, but that's quite funny in all honesty. Right, so we got up to West Ham in 14th. Oh dear. It was a promising start to the season for West Ham. The summer was very much optimistic. There was a lot of seemingly excitement in the air about what West Ham could do. Julian Lopetegui walked through the door. They got rid of the Mr. Consistent that was David Moyes. Then Lopetegui walks in, and people are starting to think this could be a big signing here. This could be one to watch out for. And then, all of a sudden, West Ham flop and flop and flop and flop and flop. And this team that we thought they'd all built and built well is actually very much imbalanced, very much on the aging side. And I don't know how long the likes of Jared Bowen's going to stick it out at West Ham before he gets a move to a bigger side, with all due respect. I'm not sure how long that will be. I mean, let's face it, Bowen is 28 years of age. He's going to be 29 by the time next year comes. He could easily go to a Europa League chasing side that may be on the verge of breaking into the top 4, top 5. He could also be an alternative to someone like a Manchester United. I know he's more of a traditional winger rather than a number 10, but even so, if United are looking at Mbeumo, Jared Bowen may not exactly be a bad shout, you know. I don't know, just a thought. But yeah, very underwhelming for West Ham. They need to get back on track with things and quickly. Everton in 13th. This season has been nostalgia for them. Final season at Goodison Park. David Moyes' incredible return. I think they could be certainly one to look out for next season. Not in terms of obviously winning the Premier League or anything like that, but I think there could be one to look out for next season because David Moyes just knows how to get things consistent. And I feel like David Moyes at Everton next season with a full preseason under his belt and with signings coming in for him and his type of players, and he can make things work. I wouldn't be surprised if Everton challenge for European football next season, whether it be the Conference League or the Europa League. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if that was the case with the Toffees next season. They've proven very difficult to beat at the end of this season. They had a good run in certain patches. I think the only game that Everton lost for a while was the Merseyside derby against Liverpool. So they've done really, really well. And I hate to say that as a Liverpool fan, but yeah, I've got to give credit where credit is due if I am to be as fair as I can be in these types of situations. Crystal Palace. Solid season. A solid middle-of-the-road type of season for Oliver Glasner. And then the icing on the cake, the FA Cup. And no one's going to care that they finished 12th again. They're going to care that a moment was made, history was made, that they won the FA Cup. And fair play to Glasner. He's got quite a notoriety now as being a cup manager. Won the Europa League at Frankfurt, now has won the FA Cup with Crystal Palace. They go into Europa League football next season, by the way, which could be very intriguing from a Palace perspective. It's just about now whether or not they keep their big name players. Ismail Assar and, of course, Jean-Philippe Mateta and Eberiche Eze as well, the hero. The difference maker on the day in terms of the goal scoring on the FA Cup final against Manchester City. Just a successful season, I would say. A very successful season for Crystal Palace and a moment that those Palace supporters will never, ever, ever, ever forget. So incredible for Oliver Glasner's side. Yesterday, Enzo and Anthony almost kicked off completely a couple of times. The Argentina-Brazil tension was palpable. It's an incredible rivalry. It's an incredible rivalry. Arsenal are looking at Gyökeres and Sesko. Guess who they'll get? Of course, Sesko, the less exciting option and track his flight. Typical. Never signing any Galacticos. Even Wirtz is a Galactico. Oh, big up Florian Wirtz. Like I say, I completely agree with you. Like I say, as a Liverpool fan, and I think it's very interesting to obviously hear from your rivals from time to time. A lot of rival fans are probably hoping and praying that Arsenal do go for Sesko over Gyökeres. And I think that should be telling for everybody to do with Arsenal as to what rival fans think of you, what rival fans want from you. And like I say, I genuinely think it is mainly because Sesko is the worst option. Now, is he a terrible, terrible player? Of course not. He's not a terrible, terrible player. But in my opinion, what exactly does he offer that Darwin Núñez doesn't? And we all know what we think about Darwin Núñez. So I just think that Gyökeres over Sesko, but if Arsenal were to go with the lesser option in that, I, as a Liverpool fan, will be very, very happy with that. Gabriel Jesus should be back fit. He's still quality. I'm not sure how long he's out for, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about Jesus, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure. Bear with me 1 second. Oh. Bear with me one sec. Thought me laptop was on charge. Apparently not. What do we get up to? Will Chelsea hold a parade? I don't know. It's a trophy, but is it really something that Chelsea fans want to celebrate massively? I mean, if they did lose yesterday, yes, I think it would have been annoying for them, but I don't necessarily think they would have been too disheartened had they lost. So I'm not 100% sure, in all honesty. Sancho was class yesterday. His goal was class. What West Ham has going for them is finishing above Man United. That is about it. Yeah, it's not looking good for West Ham right now. Like I say, they've just got a mismatched squad, and I just think their entire project right now is just not there. It's just not there. Not there at all. Füllkrug was a hero at Dortmund. Can't believe he went to West Ham. I thought he would be a lot better than what he turned out to be. I really did think Füllkrug was going to be a bit of an underrated, shrewd signing by West Ham this season. But again, I've been proven wrong. Fair enough. Live at 5 p.m. Guys, check out Luca's channel. 5 p.m. tonight. He's going to be live. I'm sure he's going to be talking Leroy Sané as well as other Arsenal transfer gossip and stories. So do go check him out. He's got some great stuff over there. And like I say, I'm sure there is something for everybody on Luca's channel. So do go check him out. I'm at work at that time, bro, so I will be watching it on the replay. So you will obviously get my support as well. Just not live, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I have to work. Shalabah at Crystal Palace still gets a Conference League medal. Oh yeah, of course he would. Of course he would, because he was in the group stage or league phase or whatever it's called now. Yeah, fair play. It's had a good season, FA Cup, and he got the FA Cup, right? I think so, maybe. Was he cup tied? Don't think he was cup tied. Happened before, right? I can't remember. My memory is shockingly bad. Where do we get up to? We got up to Palace. Fulham, 11th. Up and down season. An up and down yo-yo-y season for Fulham. I mean, it's a respectable finish, 100%, and there were some very good moments in Fulham's season. But again, certain missed opportunities maybe that could have provided Fulham with maybe a higher finish than what they actually received. I think there are a few moments there that maybe they can look back on and be a bit annoyed about. But there are some good moments there. There were some good performances, some good results. They beat Liverpool, of course, one of the few teams to beat Liverpool this season, at least when it mattered, when obviously the Premier League title was still undecided. Drew to Arsenal. I think they beat Chelsea as well, if I'm not mistaken. So there were some very good performances and results in there for Fulham, but otherwise hit and miss, shall we say, in a nutshell. Brentford in 10th, very respectable finish by Thomas Frank. Again, some good performances in there mixed in with some bad ones and some missed opportunities. Again, they could have really pushed higher in the table, maybe even challenged even further for a Europa Conference League spot at the very least. But obviously, I think missed opportunities, but still a respectable finish, especially when you consider that last season, I think they finished, 16th, 17th? I think it was 16th, around about there. So respectable for Brentford. Bournemouth. Oh, Andoni Iraola. Again, another very respectable finish. I think there might be a little bit of frustration and annoyance from certain fans of Bournemouth that they didn't push higher. It was looking for a time like Bournemouth were threatening to break into Europa League and break into break into the top 5, maybe even of Champions League places. They were doing really, really well for a time. They were managing to combat their injury crisis. They just fell away. I just think maybe the injuries caught up with them. I just think maybe their squad depth just didn't have enough quality about it. It was very unfortunate for Bournemouth, but still a very respectable finish. Andoni Iraola's a very good manager, in my opinion. They've got a very good and talented squad, which, unfortunately for Bournemouth, I think may get a little bit pulled apart this season. But if they manage to keep the majority of their players, because I know Kirkez is already going and Semenyo, you never know. I think Bournemouth could be in for another good season next year. I really, really do. Maybe somewhere similar, somewhere very much the same. Ozan Kabak, my guy. How you doing, bro? I hope you are well. Would love to know your take on what you think about Liverpool, mainly Liverpool. If you want to talk about other stuff as well, go for it. Yes, if what was I going to say? Yeah, we'd love to know your take on Wirtz, Kirkez, anything Liverpool related, really, bro. Maybe Ekatike as well. We were linked with Ekatike. Apparently, we're very much interested in him as well. So let me know what you are thinking about all of that stuff, my bro. But very good to see you indeed. Very good to see you indeed. Shame because West Ham fans deserve better. I mean, they did win a Europa Conference League a couple of years ago. So it's not as if they haven't tasted success in a while. But yeah, I get what you mean. Live 5 p.m. if you can share. Guys, Lucas channel, 5 p.m. Talking Arsenal, talking some great stuff over there. Do check his channel out. Do check out his live stream. And I will be... I'll be doing that stuff when my laptop decides to work. There we go. Where you at? There we go, fine, yeah. Then what's that, guys? Just dropping the link in the chat for everybody. Lucas channel, 5 p.m. Be there or be square. Fledgman, I'm getting worried about this. Why worried? What's there to be worried about the Wirtz deal? It is because Bayer Leverkusen want either Harvey Elliott or Jota in the deal. I think there'll be two separate deals. I think if they are to happen, there'll be two separate deals. And Harvey Elliott going to Bayer Leverkusen. Someone mentioned it yesterday. I think Jordan mentioned, it might have been Jordan. Jordan mentioned it yesterday that Harvey Elliott could be going to Bayer Leverkusen. I think that'll be a good move for Leverkusen. And I said it yesterday, as unfortunate as what it would be that Harvey Elliott would leave. I think for the betterment of his career, for the improvement and growth of his football career, he may need to leave because I don't think he fits in with Arne Slot's plans. And I think that no matter where he goes, Harvey Elliott is going to flourish. So I think he's going to do really well no matter where he goes. But I don't think you should be worried. I think the only thing that has obviously happened over these past few days is Sunday, we lifted the Premier League trophy. Monday, we were celebrating with the parade. Then, obviously, during the parade, the whole horrific incident happened. I don't think it would have been wise to maybe drop like any kind of news there. I wouldn't be worried about it, bro. I'm not worried about it. I don't think a lot of others are worried about it. I think that we just need to be a bit reserved, a bit calm, just take it easy. And until we know more, then we can start getting worried or more excited, depending on what that news is. I think we're fine, bro. I think this is going to get over the line. I just think we just need to work things out with Leverkusen over a structure for a deal. That's all. Not bad from Fulham. Since playing with Iwobi is like playing with 10 men. That's a bit harsh on Iwobi, isn't it? That's a bit harsh. I don't know. Yeah, I think Fulham have been very decent this year. Very, very decent. Harvey was crying with his dad on Sunday. He's 100% confirmed to leave the club, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish he got a bit more of an opportunity on the Arnie slot. I think he is a very good player, and I think he gives it his all every time he goes on that pitch. But unfortunately, it just isn't to be. I think maybe it's his physicality that Arnie slot is just not a massive fan of. In all honesty, because I saw him in pre-season. Some of the passes he was doing through to Salah and everything was like passes that none of our midfielders do. And I just wish we would have seen more of that, to be honest. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. In potential, Bournemouth was so good. I gave them as much of a chance as Newcastle and Aston Villa to make Champions League spots like 10 games ago. Yeah, like I say, it's just unfortunate they fell away. I think through a lot of injuries that happened earlier in the season may have came back to bite them a little bit. Maybe they overstretched themselves in the middle part of the season. Maybe Iriola's head got turned by certain speculation linking him to other jobs. I just think maybe Bournemouth just ran out of steam a little bit at the wrong time. Similarly to what happened with Nottingham Forest, in all honesty, which we'll get onto a little later. Right, 8th, Brighton. Solid season for the youngest manager in the Premier League, Fabian Herzler. Obviously made his debut in the Premier League and debut with Brighton this season. It was a bit of an up and down season. It's not been quite as fluid as maybe what Brighton would have liked. But a good building block to build upon. 8th place is not bad whatsoever. It's been fairly decent. It's been a fairly decent campaign, I think, for Brighton, and something that I think they can look at and go, you know what? Under the youngest manager in the Premier League, this is something to build upon. I think they are going to need to go out there and reinforce their squad. A couple of players here and there are going to be definitely needed for Brighton. And again, I think more established, more experienced players, because they seemingly have this whole roster of talent and quality that is like very, very young players that seemingly come out of nowhere and are automatically very good. So I think it's going to be more so on the experience side of things. But overall, Brighton, solid season, solid and respectable season. Zakir, how are you doing, bro? Hope you are good. Welcome along to the video, to the live stream, to the conversation at hand. Big up panel and chat. Big up yourself, bro. Hope you are well. Nottingham Forest qualified for the Europa Conference League this season and did so not exactly in the best of ways. They were holding the top 5 spot for a while before it kind of just fell apart towards the end of the season. And I've said time and time again with Forest that the reason why I believe things kind of fell apart towards the end was simply for the reason that their squad wasn't deep enough. I feel like if their squad was a little deeper, had a bit more variety to it, maybe, just maybe, we could have been looking at Forest performing in the Europa League or the Champions League for next season. I just think that overall they pushed themselves a little too far. They've definitely overachieved, and this is still a good season for Forest, despite falling away towards the end a little bit. But it's still a very good season, a very respectable season for Nottingham Forest. Overperformed, exceeded all expectations. And I just think, like I said, the only reason why is just for a lack of squad depth. Ola Aina's injury, unfortunate when it happened, but elsewhere, not really good cover for the other players on the pitch. He had a good starting 11, but beyond that starting 11, the quality just wasn't necessarily there. And you could maybe predict the Nottingham Forest starting 11 and maybe even substitutions a lot after a while of watching Forest play. I think that Europa Conference League football is not anything to be sniffed at. Yes, Chelsea won it this year and no one really cares because it's Chelsea, and not only that as well, but they also pumped a lot of money into that squad, so they should be winning it anyway. But Forest will have a good opportunity next season of European football. They'll have a good opportunity at making money, making memories, and let's face it, if the Europa League final can have both Tottenham and Manchester United in it this year, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that a team like Nottingham Forest can't go on and win the Europa Conference League next season. And let's not forget as well, but that also means that should Forest not be able to maintain or even better their performance this season in the league, they'll also have another gateway to potentially getting European football next season. They might do a Tottenham. They may finish 17th, but they may win the Europa Conference League, and that will gain them access into the Europa League for next season. So fair play to Nottingham Forest. I'm sure their ownership is going to be trying to go hard again in the summer. Very ambitious guy, very ambitious project he's got right now at Nottingham Forest, and I'm pretty sure that Forest are going to push the boat out again. I'm pretty sure that Forest will push the boat out again this season, and they have to. They have to deepen their squad. They have to beef it up, and especially with them playing 2 games a week now for at least the foreseeable future, I still think that Forest will go strong into the summer. Latest, Ronaldo threatened to leave, but he might stay now at Al Nassr for money that would put some small countries' GDP to shame. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ronaldo. Like I said, I still think the storybook ending for him is to go back to Portugal, go back to Sporting, and see out the remainder of his career there. But no, we shall see. We shall see. It also will be interesting to see from the Saudi project side of things what will happen if Ronaldo does leave, because he's a massive player over there, and allegedly a lot of players are going over there because he's there, not because of the money, because of him, allegedly. We shall see. I am still fuming with what the ref did to Aston Villa at Old Trafford. Yeah, absolutely abysmal decision. Abysmal decision from the ref. Didn't play to protocol, didn't play to the rules. A poor decision from the referee. And again, this is the annoying thing about it. There's no accountability. There's no accountability for any of this, because Aston Villa miss out on potentially gaining access to the Champions League. The referee gets away with it scot-free. Aston Villa are hit with a double whammy of losing the game, losing out on the possibility and potential of Champions League football, and then the referee gets away with it. There's no repercussions for the referee whatsoever. It's probably just a bit of a slap on the wrist. Just make sure to don't do that again. Like that helps Aston Villa right now. Is what it is. Is what it is. 6th, Aston Villa. Nice little segue. Missed opportunity season in terms of the league for Aston Villa. They really struggled, I think, in the first part of the season to handle Champions League football and the Premier League straight after. I really do think that they struggled to handle the expectation, the adrenaline, and the weight of them games at the beginning of the season. I really, really do. And I think that really did hinder Unai Emery's side for the majority of it. They pulled it together towards the end of the season, but I think by then it was too little too late. I think that the loan signings of Marco Asensio and Marcus Rashford, I think, were very, very good and helped them, of course, maintain their push for European football towards the end of the season. I think they can also maybe look at the FA Cup as a missed opportunity as well. Semi-final exit against Crystal Palace. Not ideal, especially with what Palace went on to do in the final. So I do think it was a season of missed opportunities. They gave a good account of themselves in the Champions League. I'll give them that. But again, fell to PSG, one of the 3 English teams to fall to PSG this season. At least in the knockout stages, 4 if you include Manchester City in the league phase. But yeah, I think it's been a season of missed opportunity for Aston Villa. Look, the consolation prize of the Europa League isn't the end of the world. If they manage to keep some of their big name players, Unai Emery, of course, is no stranger to winning that competition. So they'll have a good chance of making that a reality, a good trophy there. And let's face it, again, I will say this, if Man United and Tottenham can get to the final of this competition, then Aston Villa most certainly can at the very least. So, yes, a missed opportunity for Villa overall this season, but a consolation prize that could bear good silverware to win and access into the Champions League for next season. Sirs Gary Neville good for being banned of Forest Ground for misconstructing something and changing the public opinion on the Nottingham owner. He is a good lad, and that big Greek lad doing what he can. I think every football club in the country should follow suit with banning Gary Neville. I really do. I really think that every football club in the country should really follow suit in Gary Neville being banned from commentating on their games, especially Liverpool at Anfield. I am sick of Liverpool being put on the Sunday evening game and it goes, and here are your commentators. Who is it? What's his frigging name? Why is the name gone? I can't remember his name. I can't the other guy's name and Gary Neville. Why is Gary Neville commentating on a Liverpool game? He can't hide his bias. He can't hide his bias when it comes to Liverpool. He really, really struggles to do so. And every time Liverpool score, it's like, oh, great, they've scored again. And every time Liverpool concede, that's when he starts getting excited and he starts getting a bit more into it, a bit more invested, a bit more enthusiastic about the situation. He shouldn't be allowed to commentate on Liverpool games. I've been saying that for a while. Imagine next year, Champions League, the top 6 is all English teams. I mean, there's a possibility, but I don't see Spurs getting there. I don't see Spurs getting there. They barely struggled in the Europa League at times. Aston Villa are taking legal steps against the FA. I don't know how far they'll get. I really don't know how far they'll get. Gutted for Aston Villa, one of my favourite teams in the Prem. I do like Villa. They've got some good history there. They've got a good kind of infrastructure, and all of that kind of stuff. Good squad as well. I do like Villa. Got a good manager as well. I do like Emery. I don't know if he's going to be. I don't know if he's the guy to put in a high pressure situation, but I do like Emery. I get what you mean. Emery has been there and done that with the Europa League. He really wants Champions League. He won the Europa a few times already. That's why Aston Villa, in my opinion, are going to be good favourites to win the competition next year. Unai Emery at the helm. He knows what this competition is all about. And he likes to play that underdog role. I think it suits him down to a T. Newcastle United in fifth up next. They achieved what they set out to achieve this season. They wanted Champions League football. They got Champions League football. They got it by the skin of their teeth, but it doesn't matter. They still got it by hook or by crook, by any means necessary. Newcastle United managed to obtain Champions League football for next season, and in doing so have probably kept their big name players for at least one more year. The likes of Alexander Isak, Anthony Gordon will probably remain on at Newcastle this season. Otherwise, they are fetching a large transfer fee in for any one of them. But it is exactly what Newcastle wanted, Newcastle needed, and they got their wish. Add on top of that, the cherry on top of this cake, a Carabao Cup. And what an incredible display it was by Newcastle at Wembley against Liverpool. A fantastic day out at Wembley. A fantastic parade soon followed in the city of Newcastle for the triumph of a Carabao Cup. And rightfully so, because that is the first trophy in, 70-odd years that Newcastle have managed to win. It was a fantastic achievement. It meant so much to those Newcastle supporters. And Eddie Howe has done an incredible job. An incredible job. Champions League football again for the second time in a number of years. A trophy to boot. They are continuing their upwards trajectory. They just need some more squad depth. The one thing I will say with the likes of Forest and Bournemouth, they just need squad depth. When Isak's out, Callum Wilson is not a viable stand-in. I don't think he's going to be re-signing with with Newcastle, so I think he is going to be a free agent come the end of the transfer window, or come the end of when his contract expires. But yeah, they just need some more squad depth in key areas. They need a backup to Isak, especially with Isak's injury record not exactly being perfect, shall we say. I feel like they need something for the right wing, where obviously Jacob Murphy has had a very good season for Newcastle, but of course I think that they can go out there and get better. I think defensively, they could obviously strengthen in certain areas there. Midfield-wise, they've got a strong midfield. Bruno Guimaraes is incredible. Sandro Tonali is fantastic. Joelinton this season, I know that he rattles some people, and I know that obviously he's dirty, and sometimes he can really get away with seemingly murder at times. But there's no doubt about it that he is very useful in that Newcastle midfield in bringing balance to it. I like Newcastle a lot. I like where they're going. I have a bit of a soft spot for them, if I am being completely honest. I like Eddie Howe. And I think they've had a fantastic season. So fair play to the Magpies. Where we go to Emery has been... Oh, no, we got up to that one. Neville doubled down and said Nottingham Forest had been acting in bad faith lately. He is just a professional waffler, man, and he doesn't care, so he will say anything to stir the pot. He works for Sky, bro. Sky, I obviously don't know this for a fact, but I would not be surprised if Sky stir the pot. Like you say, stir the pot. they force them to say these types of things. They force them to say certain things to get reactions, to get clicks, to get likes, to get views, all that kind of interaction. I wouldn't be surprised. Sky, I think, do that. I think they definitely do that to a large degree. And Neville obviously having the big platform there, being the main presenter alongside Jamie Carragher, of course. Wouldn't be surprised if that was genuinely not necessarily what he completely believes, but he knows what's going to get people talking. He knows what's going to get the interactions. Maybe he does believe it. Maybe, and again, I wouldn't put it past him if he did. But yeah, the way that Neville talked about Forest in the past, especially with the whole, I thought hiring Mark Clattenburg was strange, but the way that obviously he condemned them for writing to the Premier League about a poor incident that happened in the game between them and Everton, it just seemed very, very strange to me. And the way that he reluctantly or doesn't even call out the PGMOL at all, because he doesn't want it to affect his relationship with like Howard Webb or whatever. It's very strange, and nothing's going to ever get done about this kind of situation unless you, of course, call it out, which Forest attempted to do. Carragher and Neville have been in jobs for long. Rio stopping now after 10 years at BT. I'm so glad he's leaving TNT Sport. I am so glad Rio Ferdinand is not going to be on TNT Sport anymore. I hope that he goes away from the camera and, I'm praying he does not join Sky. I'm praying he does not go anywhere, because Rio Ferdinand is a terrible, terrible, terrible pundit. I genuinely do not care for Rio Ferdinand. Got some strange views, some strange ways of thinking about things. Overall, he's just not very good. He is not very good at all. Newcastle came into all the money, but they never actually signed any crazy signings and still managed to do well. I want to see more quality signings like Tonali. I'd say, Tonali's like the only big... I mean, they did sign Anthony Gordon for 45 million, something like that, 45, 50 million. But Sandro Tonali was brought in for a lot. They didn't even have him for a large part. I think he's been there 2 years now, but of course the first season he got done for that betting scandal, so they haven't even had him for like a year properly. This has been his first proper season almost, so fair play to Sandro Tonali for that, but fair play to Newcastle for not just splashing the cash and throwing it around. And I know that FFP and PSR and all of that crap has hindered Newcastle a little bit from doing that. But maybe with the Champions League money now, maybe we are going to start seeing a bit more freedom to the wallet of Newcastle. And if that is to be the case, it could be scary, scary times ahead. Newcastle last season in the Champions League was eventful against PSG and the like, or was that the year before? That was the year before, bro. Last season, Newcastle finished, I believe, 7th. But because Man United won the FA Cup, they got demoted to outside of that. Which, now that I think about it, doesn't make sense considering Forest are getting Europa League when Palace, who finished outside the top 7, I think it must have had something to do with the correlation point things, or whatever it's called. Because Newcastle didn't get any form of European football this season. Even though they finished 7th, due to United finishing 8th and winning the FA Cup. Which meant that they went and got Europa League and Chelsea got knocked down and got Europa Conference. I'm just trying to work out how that makes sense. Just trying to work out how that makes sense this year. But Newcastle, great jersey. Do you own one? Nope, I do not. I don't wear any other English football club shirt. My rule is that it's okay to. I like collecting football shirts. I like collecting football shirts because some of them are really, really cool. Some of them look really nice, especially some of the outside of Europe ones. I've got like a couple of Mexican teams shirts that look really nice. But there are some really great jerseys out there that are really cool, really nice. But because I'm a Liverpool fan, I refuse to wear any football shirt from the Premier League. Any football shirt from the Premier League. It's just I just don't agree. I feel like if you have a team, it's okay to wear football shirts outside of your own league. But if you, I would never wear a Newcastle shirt. I'd never wear a Brighton shirt. I'd never wear a City, United, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Bournemouth shirt. I just wouldn't wear it. Just wrong. Just Liverpool kit or foreign kit. And the only foreign kit I will not wear is a Real Madrid shirt because Real Madrid. But yeah. Or do you only wear Liverpool kits for England and rest? Yeah, exactly that. Liverpool kit. I don't really buy Liverpool kits because I don't necessarily trust the owners, but they are starting to slowly turn things around for me. We shall see in like a year or two's time. And foreign kits. I'm great. Like I said, I've always wanted a Dortmund shirt. I've got a Dortmund shirt. A couple of years ago, I bought an AC Milan shirt because that shirt absolutely looked fire. So I went and got that. That Greek owner did not fight with Nuno on the pitch. He was just about to go to the ref. And Nuno advised him not to. A little beef of temperament, apparently not allowed from Neville, but okay. Like he's never let tempers boil over, you know? I remember in a Liverpool versus Man United game, I think Rio Ferdinand scored the winner. I think it was that game. Rio Ferdinand scored the winner. Neville's there in front of the Liverpool fans, giving it all that. Obviously, imagine that's like a United shirt, which is horrible to think of, me in a United shirt. But he's doing it all that in front of the Liverpool fans, kissing the badge and all sorts. Like, tempers boil over. You sometimes get lost in the moment. It happens. But apparently now that Neville's in a suit, apparently it's different. Rio is doing his own thing now, has a big YouTube channel. I don't know how people can watch that, to be honest, but to each their own. To each their own. I don't like him as a pundit. I'm not going to watch his YouTube channel. Lineker's gone too. I think that was always going to happen with the way that he's so outspoken about certain things. And obviously, wasn't it earlier on this season where Match of the Day he left Match of the Day for one night, and Match of the Day was like so much better when it just didn't have any punditry or anything because everybody else boycotted it. So they just went, here are the highlights. Here's the first game, second game, third game. I think that was always going to happen. Match of the Day's dying anyway because Sky and all of them kind of channels put their match highlights on YouTube and things. Match of the Day's dying anyway, which is a shame because it was always a good staple to watch on a Saturday night / Sunday morning. But there's just no point in watching it when, of course, you have access to YouTube and other highlights throughout the day. Will playing just once a week be good for Man United next season? Absolutely. I think it will. I think it will help them on the pitch. I think it'll also help them on the training ground between games. I think it really, really will help them. Moving on, Chelsea. They achieved their goal this season. They got Champions League football. That was what they were wanting, what they were needing, what they were desperate for this season. This young squad managed to prove a lot of people wrong in achieving that goal. They also won the Europa Conference League last night, so they added the extra cherry on top of this cake by winning a piece of silverware. Fair play to Enzo Maresca's side. Can't deny or fault them whatsoever. They proved a lot of people wrong. I think a lot of people at the beginning of the season had them finishing anywhere between 4th and 17th. I don't think we would have been surprised no matter where they would have finished this season, as long as it wasn't either winning the Premier League or being relegated from it. But Chelsea managed to keep their nerve when it mattered most. They managed to turn up when it mattered most, and they managed to get what they so desired in terms of winning the Europa Conference League and, of course, obtaining Champions League football for next season. It means all of their money will again go up. They'll go after some big name players, or it should at least mean they go after some big name players. Whether or not they stick with this same sort of approach that they've been doing these past few years in terms of their transfer dealings remains to be seen. But there is a good opportunity now for Chelsea to go out there, beef up their squad with some experience, and maybe push on towards competing on multiple fronts for next season. Third, Manchester City. Dreadful season for City. Absolute failure of a season, with the slightest consolation prize being that they have obtained Champions League football for next season. They, of course, were pushed a little bit to the brim this season, but they managed to get there in the end. An FA Cup final defeat yet again. Pep Guardiola is the only manager in English football history, I believe, to have lost back-to-back FA Cup finals. Lost last year to Manchester United. Lost this year to Crystal Palace. It's been a dreadful season. It's been an absolute dreadful season for Manchester City. Again, the players that they have, there's a lot of technical ability there. There's a lot of skill. There's a lot of flair, but there's no real end product. Erling Haaland was anonymous for a lot of this season, despite the fact that he got, I believe, 22 goals in the Premier League and was one of the top goal scorers this season. He still... He looked a bit anonymous. He looked a bit anonymous this season. I think a lot of next season rides on the January window that City had. They brought in £200 million worth of players. We're going to see if they're going to flourish, sink or swim next season. I'm sure they're going to go hard in the summer as well. I'm sure that they are going to... I'm sure that they're going to go out there and rebuild this squad. But we shall see. We shall see on Manchester City. It has been a terrible season for City. I bought my kids Barca kits, several ones, but now they're asking me for Real Madrid. Oh dear. Oh bro, no. I say that like, I'm like, you know, if my daughter came home one day and she said, Dad, I really like either one of Everton, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, or Real Madrid, that kid is going up for adoption. I don't care. I do not care. That kid is going up for adoption. So I completely understand where you're coming from, my dude. Wait, what do you mean by that? What? With kids, do you wear the shirt? What do you mean by that? I don't get what you mean by that, bro. I'm afraid. I'd like to clarify that comment because I don't know what you mean by that, bro. Neville speaks as if he was not the worst manager in La Liga history at Valencia, like actually statistically is the worst. Yeah, the least said about his tenure at Valencia, the better. Lineker is best not for going to the bathroom on the pitch. Yeah. Yeah, it's a legendary story that I'm sure will follow him throughout his life. Do you like Kelly Kate's punditry? She more of a host anyway, so can't really do that wrong. Just posing a question. Yeah, I think she's I think for Sky, she's decent. She's someone different, bit of a breath of fresh air, I guess you could say. And of course, the daughter of the legendary great King Kenny. So fair play. Yeah, I think she's great. Yeah, I think she does her job really well. Like I say, I think it's a good opportunity for her. I just, like I said, I just think with, I just think with obviously the way that obviously technology's moved on, YouTube obviously exists and obviously posts the highlights of the majority of games. Match of the day is unfortunately just dying. It's so unfortunate, but it's the way that obviously things move on. Chelsea had a banner in the stadium. Win or Arsenal, win or fuck off. Good banner. Fair play. This is what I'm saying, man. Banter. This is why I love this sport. It's all about the banter. It's all about the banter, which is why I loved it when Liverpool had the banner of Mikel Arteta in a dress saying always the bridesmaid. It was just a bit of fun, a bit of banter. Because next season, you could say he's finally the bride or whatever. You can put him as in a bride's outfit or whatever. It's just a bit of fun, a bit of banter. Some people don't understand that, but that's what makes our sport so great. The fact that we can create chants, we can create banners, we can create any kind of moment to post a bit of banter at the expense of rivals and other clubs. It's just great, in my opinion. I love it. Next up, Arsenal, second place, second again. Ale. Excuse FC from the majority of their fans. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. From a number of their fans this season, it's been excuse after excuse after excuse. Excuse FC strikes again. They have blamed injuries, they've blamed red cards, they've blamed referees, they've blamed the PGMOL, they've blamed the sun, the moon, the grass, the air, the oxygen. Certain fans have blamed absolutely everything this season rather than looking at their own club. Look, it's a massive missed opportunity for Arsenal. They missed out because Arsenal missed out. They didn't go out there in the sun buy the best players. They didn't buy the right fit for players that they should have done. They didn't go out there and they didn't buy a winger that could chip in with some goals and some assists. They didn't go out there and buy a striker who was an ice cold finisher in front of goal. Instead, they bought in a left back in a team that is already full of left backs. They bought a CDM who I thought was actually going to be better than what he turned out to be. But truth is, he really wasn't. And they got in Raheem Sterling, who, if this was about 5-6 years ago, might have actually worked. But this wasn't the Raheem Sterling of 5-6 years ago. He was done. Dusted. Done. Arsenal bottled it this season because Arsenal let themselves down. This should have been Arsenal's year. Liverpool should not have been leapfrogging them and City. This should have been Arsenal leapfrogging Manchester City and taking advantage of a season in which City dropped off. That did not happen, and Arsenal only have themselves to blame. They only have their manager to blame. They have their club to blame. They have their players to blame. But certain Arsenal fans don't want to hear that. Certain Arsenal fans want to hear the copium of referees, VAR, PGMOL, red cards, injuries, this, that, the other, all of that stuff. It is what it is. second again. Allez, allez. Does Arsenal seriously have 0 European trophies ever? Even Fulham and Ipswich have one. I think they do have a European trophy, but it's like a retired competition now. I think it's an old retired European competition. I think it's like the Cup Winners' Cup or something. And I have to go through their history. I'm not 100% sure with Arsenal history, but I'm sure it's something along them lines that they do have some form of European trophy, but it is like a retired trophy now. I mean, do you buy the full jersey or just the shirt? For me, for an adult, I think it's weird if you buy the full kit, unless of course you do go and play like five-a-side or play football in general. Then I think buying the full kit is weird. For an adult, buy just the shirt. That's fine. For a kid though, for a kid, I don't see the problem with buying the full kit if you're buying it for your children, for your kids, whatever. I would say that's fine, bro. I'd say that's fine. It's cool, bro. It's cool. I'm trying to understand. So I was just on the clarification side of things. That's all. Mika Richards is just there for laughs often, but actually he speaks good sense too. Richards is okay. He is a bit of a laughing track, but he's okay. I prefer him on CBS. You know when he's on CBS and he's got Carragher and Thierry Henry and obviously what's her name? Kate. I forgot her surname, but I know her first name's Kate. When those four are together, they are great. They've got fantastic chemistry. Jamie Carragher is completely different on the CBS show than he is on Sky. Mika Richards is great. Thierry Henry holds his own down really, really well. They are absolutely amazing together on that show. I really wish they would have that over here in this country, but we're like too professional, apparently. It is what it is. But yeah, I get what you're saying, bro. Mika Richards. Hit or miss. And finally, Liverpool Football Club, my club, top of the table, champions of England, 20-time Premier League champions. Oh, it's been a glorious, glorious season. Look, overall, you can maybe make the argument that Liverpool should have won more this season. We should have gave a better account of ourselves in the Carabao Cup. We obviously got knocked out the FA Cup early on to Plymouth, which was a bad missed opportunity. The Champions League, we got knocked out by PSG, of course. We should have done probably more there, and it was unfortunate that we got such a difficult tie when, of course, we actually topped the league phase, but that is just how it goes. But yeah, I can't complain. Arne Slot's first season in charge, he was given very little to work with when he first came in on his debut season. He was given Federico Chiesa, and that was it. He had to adapt this side. And he did it beautifully. He turned Ryan Gravenberch into a DM. He got Mo Salah towards his best season in a Liverpool shirt. Alisson Becker, Keeman Kelleher, whichever one that was stepping in was still stronger than ever. Trent Alexander-Arnold for about 3/4 of a season was solid defensively. Virgil van Dijk was back to his imperious self. Alexis McAllister was so consistent in that midfield area. Dominic Szoboszlai popped up a fair few times to gain the headlines and the spotlight. Luis Diaz was scoring goals at times this season. Cody Gakpo was amongst the goals this season in big ways and big occasions. It was just a brilliant all-round season for Liverpool, in which they absolutely waltzed and walked away with the Premier League title, stealing it right from under the noses of both Manchester City and Arsenal, and doing it in very convincing fashion. Liverpool Football Club are your Premier League champions. And with the way that they are going about things in the summer, you would probably expect them to be favourites going into next season if they can pull off the signings of the likes of Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez. Frimpong is seeming already through the door. Mamardashvili's coming in this summer as well. They're looking at a striker in Hugo Ekitike, maybe. This has got all the makings of a very promising season for Liverpool. So much so that we could be witnessing something that I have not witnessed in my lifetime. Liverpool going back-to-back champions. It could genuinely happen, people. It could potentially be on course to happen. I hope it does. I pray it does, but we shall wait and see what this summer throws up. Arteta has actually been long for Arsenal already. It's been like 7 years. Time flies, so he just gets all the time in the world. 5 years. 5 years, actually. I think he took over in the FA Cup winning season of 2020, wasn't it? Yes, 2020. And then took over in the season of 2020 because that was obviously the year that Liverpool won the Premier League. So the year that Liverpool won the Premier League, Arteta took over, won the FA Cup. 5 years later, we are still waiting for him to actually do anything extra. So, here's to another year, guys. Here's to another year. Keep shooting for the moon. You might land on some stars. Who knows? You're still going, Loki. Gonna wrap things up soon, bro. I've been going for 2 hours and I've got to get to work, unfortunately. Otherwise, I could go even longer. Is it sunny where you are? Especially, it was sunny. It's gone a bit dull now, but yeah, it was fairly sunny for a while. PSG versus Inter will be interesting. You watching Club World Cup or not that much? Yeah, I can't wait for the Champions League final on Saturday. That Champions League final is gonna be mint. I cannot wait for that final. Preview tomorrow, by the way. We're going to be previewing it tomorrow. I'm still undecided whether it's going to be a live stream again or a video. I probably will do a live stream, but we shall see how things go. It's looking more likely it will be a live stream. So about the same time tomorrow, I will probably be doing a live stream for the big Champions League final. The preview, that is. And as for the Club World Cup, I have ultimately no interest. I genuinely don't have that much interest in the Club World Cup. If something does come about, maybe I'll do something about it. Ultimately, that I genuinely have no interest in it. It's very strange that the likes of Chelsea and City are in it. Neither of the Champions League finalists, I don't think, are in it. Liverpool are not in it. Man United are not in it. It just doesn't pique my interest, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It just doesn't pique my interest. Kate Scott, who's Kate? Yeah, that's her name. I couldn't remember her surname, and I'm sure she changed it, but I couldn't remember what she changed it to. But yes, she's great as well. She's a fantastic host and really does hold her own against the likes of Mika Richards, Jamie Carragher, and Thierry Henry, especially when she's doing her intros. And they're absolutely amazing. To really big up Thierry Henry, the GOAT, the legend that is. Really big up a Champions League winner like Jamie Carragher. And then to really cut Mika Richards down for not exactly having a career that lived up to the heights of those two in particular. Take care, bro. Take care of yourself, mate. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to talk to you, my bro, and always a pleasure to hear from you as well. So go for it. In Europe, they find it weird that English curse a lot. However, if you drop an F-bomb on TV, it's the end of the world. But I understand that. It depends what kind of... I think it depends what time of the day it is. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just say don't filter it. Don't filter it. We get annoyed when we get like robots on screen that just talk and are media trained. I agree. I 100% agree with you, bro. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks, everybody that tuned in and joined us on this over 2-hour stream. Make sure you're liking the live stream. Make sure you're subscribing down below as well. Really do appreciate each and every single one of you that joined, that obviously did those things, got involved in the chat, and are here constantly. The support you guys give me in the channel is absolutely amazing. You guys are absolutely awesome. It will never be taken for granted and always will be appreciated. Can't thank you enough. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Feel free to get involved in the comment section, the like button, and the subscribe button, even after this video has been done live. Otherwise, like I say, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Go to Luca's channel. I dropped it in the chat earlier. I'll drop it again for people. He's going to be live at 5 o'clock. So in just over an hour's time, Luca will be live. Get over there, people. He's going to be talking some Arsenal content for you all to dive into. So he's going to be talking Leroy Sané. I think he might also be talking more about Benjamin Sesko, that kind of thing. So do get involved there. And I shall see you all again soon in another video or live stream. Oh, wait. Marco says Trent not being presented yet at Real Madrid. Not until they decide whether or not he's going to go before or after the Club World Cup. The Real are trying to get him before the Club World Cup, but Liverpool, for one reason or another, are not letting him go. Don't know why. Does Slot have a light dig at Trent for leaving? Maybe. And you know what? It's understandable as to why. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I've got to go. So thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. Like I say, like, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comment section. All of that good stuff will make for great and interesting reading and will always be appreciated. Thank you all for your continued or brand new support to the channel. Very much appreciated by me. And I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.